Let me try that one more time. The people love the air horns. All right, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. So, what was I saying? If you people really care about the Mayor's Office podcast, you feel me? If you really care about the well-being of myself, Adriel Smiley, and Mr. 1990s studio himself, Stacks Edwards, set us up with some money. Send the e-transfers.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Send a PayPal.
Send the PayPal.
What do you call those people that they don't have an OnlyFans but they put a PayPal in their bio? What do you call those people? What are the name for them? We could be one of those people.
Whores?
Just have nothing, just donations.
Just send a donation. You know what I mean?
I didn't think that you would choose such an accurate description.
I didn't. I haven't ate breakfast in 7 days. Like, I'm hungry, but I'm still here to pod for you guys. So please present a little bit of money. But yes, you are now tuned into, you are now listening, you are now experiencing, because this is an experience. The Mayor's Office podcast. And I am your host, Ralph, aka the Mayor, aka the Last Airbender, aka Peso Poppy.
Hey!
Cheese! Please introduce yourself to the people.
I'm getting a lot better at that. I think we had to practice, and we're now like, I don't know, 20-some episodes in.
Got the cadence down.
It's getting cancelable level.
No, I was going to say, I'm probably more canceled now than I was when I first started because it was so bad.
There you go.
You know, it's Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. Adriel Smiley Official, a.k.a. AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. The Godfather.
Big money.
Episode 23, this is that Jordan shit right here.
Jeez, we hit the Jordan year. Some of these niggas thought we were just going to stop at 6. Episode 7, episode 8. And I say this time and time again, joke's on you, nigga. We're still here and we're still kicking.
Yeah, this is not going to be the Brandon Roy of podcasting, okay? When you think of this podcast, I want you to think of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Vince Carter, LeBron James.
Talk to him.
Think of some living legends with longevity.
We need to get to the Ron Artest year, the 96.
Get to the Ron Artest year.
We need those higher numbers, bro. We're at Jordan right now. We're going to get to the Ron Artest numbers.
No,
that meta.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something right now. When the people wanted us to stop at episode 6, episode 7, episode 8, you know what I said to them? Okay. I said, fuck that shit. I said, no, I believe in growth. And we cannot grow without progress. And you know what is instrumental in our progress? You know who is instrumental in our progress? You know where is instrumental in our progress?
Okay, tell them.
1990 Studios.
Horns.
And the third member of the Mayor's Office podcast. Introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, I appreciate that. Build up, man. Chris Stacks Edwards, 1990 Studios. We here again with the Mayor's Office. And I'm ready for another banger.
Yes, sir.
Another classic.
Another classic.
Last episode got a lot of good reviews. I appreciate everybody that took their time to listen. Big glow.
Let's build off of that because, you know, we're just going to delve into what's going on with you.
Oh, shit.
I feel like no joke of a lie, this first thing I put in this document was update for Ralph. That's the first thing I had in here. So I want to update on what we talked about at the beginning of the last pod in terms of what's going on in the dating scene. And then as well with Joey's, because you know.
Oh my God.
So
this is a 2-part update.
2-part update. The people want to know what's going on.
I feel you. Yeah. I mean, this is a podcast and we are supposed to talk about our progress in life. I'm still working. I'm still doing my thing. If you're specifically asking about the dating stuff, I'm not dating as actively as I thought I would want to be at this point. But the vibes are good.
Okay.
I don't want to get in super depth like last episode about anybody specifically that I have been going out with or whatever.
Correct.
I want to keep that respect to that person, whoever it is, whoever they are. I just want to keep that respect just because somebody may be listening to the podcast and I don't want to get too deep in my personal life. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
When it comes to Joey's now, Joey's is very interesting. It's very interesting in the sense that having a part-time job where you reach a certain pinnacle work-wise in your other faculties. Like I've been a restaurant manager. I've been an operation manager. I've been a department manager, a sport check, all of these forms of management. I've been a manager at a financial level as well.
Yeah.
I chose to be in that position. I chose to take that job. I chose to show up. You know what I'm saying? But when a 24-year-old talks to you with a little bit of, I kind of want to box them.
I feel like you do that head tilt when someone's talking to you. That's like,
But at the end of the day, I pick my situation. I could quit at any time I want to. So it is what it is.
I feel like the energy you have with people who are kind of above you in those work settings, very funny. It's very funny because I think it's more of a clear disdain than in a more corporate setting, you know? Like I could definitely look at you and I don't rock with you. I might not say anything, but it's very obvious that I don't rock with you. And I used to sometimes let my managers know because I had multiple managers when I worked at a restaurant. And it was like, listen, y'all two, man them. The rest of y'all, fuck the feds. So I always let the managers know who wasn't on the team that they weren't on the team. And
you know what's a little shaky for me for that is because there's such an established relationship amongst all these people. And at this place particular, there's like so many quote unquote managers that everybody's just friends and whatever, right? Like,
all connected.
You know what I mean? You could come to work for 5 months and you're like a manager at this point, right? Like it's interesting to me. So like I don't want to go to somebody and be like, yo, I don't really rock with this person. Because like these guys could be fucking playing badminton together next week. You know what I mean? Or where the fuck people play. So just think about that.
I said where the fuck people play. Have you noticed like the ecosystem of people dating? We talked about last time, like everyone's doing everything with everybody. You're still pretty new, but have you picked off some couples and seen some connections?
I kind of seen who was talking to who or who slept with who, which is crazy because like me at my age, I'm not telling anybody I work with who I'm sleeping with.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? But these guys are so open to like just say, yo, I slept with this person or I dated this person that works here. And I'm just like, yo, how are you telling me? You don't know me from a can of paint.
I'm as new as it gets.
You know what I mean? I'm as new as it gets. Like I've been there a couple of weeks. Like how are you so comfortable to tell me this? So from there, and there's a lot of like, there's people that kind of get in my personal space. Like women that have gotten in my personal space at work. And for me, like, maybe because I'm so new into the dating thing and whatever, so I still have this little sense of awkwardness around like new women. Like I don't know to differentiate if you're just in my space to be in my space, if you're in my space because, so.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tough one that you always gotta, you really can't tell. I think the best like way, at least with that, is to kind of like, see the consistency in those movements. But okay,
I'm not trying to talk to anybody at work.
No, listen, you say that now, and I hope that remains the case.
I think it will.
But listen, things can change. My thing I was wondering is like cuffing season still a thing, or people are like, it's getting cold. Like round up whoever you gotta round up, do the tryouts. Like is that still something that happens?
I think subconsciously it is.
Because you're getting into that time.
Oh man. It's there. I think subconsciously it is.
For some people.
I think when the weather gets a little colder and there's less events to go out to, and like you just want to meet up with people, you want to still hang out with somebody like of the opposite sex or whatever your preference is. I still think subconsciously cuffing season, quote unquote, is still a thing because those same people subconsciously, when it's summertime, they want to be more free and they want to go out more and they want to experience more. So like I do think subconsciously it's still a thing. I don't think there's people like have a calendar like, all right, bro, I'm gonna have to drop this girl on this date, and you know what I mean. But I think subconsciously it's still a thing.
Yeah, I feel like as well, it's very big spin the block time. Like I feel like those fall winter months. I feel like that's when people are really spinning the block,
going back to an old
something. So I feel like that's part of it. But listen, I'm not. There's no cuffing season happening anytime soon. So this pod is gonna stay very single.
It's gonna stay single.
This whole pod is gonna stay
except for Chris over here.
Chris is like a couple enough for the both of us.
Chris is a black man's inspiration at this time in life because how long have you been in your marriage?
3 3 years now.
3 years?
That was a little too slow of an answer.
COVID fucked me up, man. Those years, they blend together.
Don't worry, his wife's not listening to the pod yet. When we get signed, she's gonna go back and be like, wait, you said what to these guys?
Mind you, might be the wrong answer.
3 years is a big inspiration. Any of my friends out there that have been married for 3 or more years, have been in long-term relationships, I fucking salute you. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and a lot of communication. So shout outs to you guys and shout outs to Stacks Edwards.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment regardless. I think we got to make that a thing more. Like, are we like, celebrate that of like,
because these relationships are ending like quick, man.
What?
Like, 2 years is like, whoa, like you've been with somebody for 2 years, you know what I mean? So it's good to see. Like one of my closest friends, shout outs to Demi, shout outs to Jordan. You guys, I know you guys listen to the pod. Like they've been together for a little bit of time. It feels like they've been together like a lot longer.
It does.
It actually is, right? So it's pretty interesting to me. Like when I'll ask him, I'll be like, yo, how long you guys been together? He'll be like, oh, 4 years. And I'm like, yo, what? You guys look like you guys been together for like 7.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
just 4 is like.
So it's like, so I appreciate like real love like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to know before we move on to the music room is what is the status of Halloween? I think by the time this comes out, we'll be on that Halloween time. Is Halloween overrated? I have some friends of mine who I love them dearly, but they start posting about Halloween like September 30th. And I think that Halloween is actually just one evening.
Yeah.
It's not even Christmas, where Christmas kind of spans maybe like 30 hours, from the night before into the next day. Halloween is actually like 6 hours long. So why does it take up so much time on our internet?
I think because of the movies. I think because of the television shows. There's so much promo up until Halloween. So it's like it's on our head. It's almost like Christmas. Like we start thinking about Christmas at the beginning of December too, right?
Yeah. Some people in like November.
Yeah, you know what I mean? People are thinking about, I got to get my costume. Parties, promoters start promoting their parties early. So I guess it stays in the news cycle and shit. But yeah, I don't know. The older I'm getting, the less I give a fuck about Halloween. Like I don't even want to go out on Halloween, to be honest, or go to the club or go anywhere. Like, what's your plan?
I go out, but I'm not dressing up. Last year was my first year dressing up.
Real nigga.
I went as Nelly.
Jeez. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Just all I did was buy the headband.
Yeah.
Everything else I already had.
You rocked the Band-Aid?
Yeah, Band-Aid too, and the headband. But this year I'm just gonna, show up to the party not dressed up. I'm just going as fly. That's my costume.
We got to do something on the pod for Halloween because we're at a good location now.
I mean, your colors, they fit right in with Halloween.
Oh, there you go. See? That's why Chris gets paid the big bucks, man.
We're at a good location now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's decide what we're gonna do next, because we do have a special guest coming on later.
Yes, we do.
But we have also an array of topics.
Oh, shit. Actually, I was going to do this for the pod. I am sick and tired of using apps. For dating. So I'm live on the pod right now for everybody to see. I'm going to delete Tinder and I'm going to delete Bumble because I want to meet people like in person.
Okay, so it's official.
This guy's going analog with the dating.
Yeah, bro. Gotta go old school with it. Crazy that's old school.
I like it.
Hey, don't sleep on the Instagram.
I like it.
But when it comes to Tinder and Bumble and shit, like it's not for me, man.
I can't take those things seriously, even though I have used them.
Yeah,
I'm here like you shouldn't be falling in love with me if you met me on this app. Like I'm not gonna fall in love with you. So what are we really doing here? But when I broke up with one of my exes, the first 2 events I went to were both music events. One was a concert, one was a release party.
Yeah.
And at both events, like me and a woman met in person. The first woman had a boyfriend and then still tried to holler at me. The second woman, when she gave me her Instagram, was a complete different person online. So I love meeting in person, but I feel like it's still hit and miss.
No, for sure. But as I said last episode, I get so many things out of the way when I meet somebody in person, as opposed to like this like when it comes to the apps, it's so much back and forth.
Vetting process.
Yeah, and it's like vet with this person and this person and this person. And like I just feel like I was listening back to the episode. Chris actually brought up a big question that we didn't actually answer. Chris said, yo, do you feel like these apps are kind of focused more on like the attraction level as opposed to everything else. And I didn't get a chance to answer it. You're absolutely right. It does only focus on the attraction level because it's so fucking basic, right?
Yeah.
It's I see your pictures, you see my pictures. You don't. Sometimes I don't even look at like the bio and the description and the age and all that. It's just swipe. That shit, like it'll fuck with your head, bro. That's why I'm kind of done with it, and I'm sick of that. Like I'd rather just talk to somebody and like interact.
That's gonna change the way you have like all your interactions with like girls and people. I feel like right? Like it's like I mean I've done it before. If I meet someone, I'm like, oh, what's their Instagram? Let me check them out. You know, but like I feel like it just distorts your vision. You're just seeing these pictures, but you don't actually know what they're like.
I don't know what they're like.
And for me at least, I always felt like I wasn't on Tinder and shit, but like I'm better when now I'm married, but like back in the day, I felt like I was better. Like if I could talk to the girl, exactly. I gotta crack jokes. I know, I know where I stand. So I'm like, yo, let me pull up, make some jokes, talk smooth, and that's been the best way I can do it.
That's my mentality.
And you can't kind of get that off on a random like message like out of the blue. And I'll tell you what too, from the people who I have like met with and slept with from the apps, when I go back to their profile, I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's what you think of the person when you first see their profile or you swipe or whatever. And then you're like, and it's like at one point I was like really trying to like get at you. Now you're just in my phone. Like,
and you know the crazy thing is these are all people. These are all like women. These are all women that have like ideas and likes and dislikes, but because I'm just swiping, I don't see you as that. You know what I mean? I'm like, at least on the base level, on the surface level, I just see you as like the picture. Like I don't like think about, yo, this girl might be into anime or this girl might like thrillers or
you might make up what you think. Like you might make up a personality just by
looking at her, right? You know what I mean? So I'm just swiping, and then that could have been a potential person that I'm like, yo, me and her could have clicked, but I just swiped because maybe I didn't like the way she took that picture at that time. It's crazy, bro.
And it's even the other way. Like some do put on their profile like I'm into ball, or I'm a huge Raptors fan, or I like anime. And so you just link with someone off of, you like anime, I like anime. When it's like not everyone's girlfriend is like a dead ass Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like your girlfriend's always be a Kobe fan and like Kanye West too. Like you've dated girls who it's like they have their own interests that they're into, and that's cool with them. But on the app, sometimes you're just like, oh, you like ball? Okay, this is what we're connected on too. When it's like most of the time, the girl you end up dating or whoever, she don't know most words.
There you go. So live for the podcast, live for the listeners, live for the watchers right now. I'm gonna hand Adriel my phone and he's gonna delete Tinder and Bumble because I'm done with it.
You'll get a few swipes in just for.
Nah, it's over, man. It's over.
Should we pour one out? Like
pour some water out.
Damn, I got no liquor in here, man.
Tinder officially deleted.
Whoa.
There we go. Bumble officially deleted.
Jeez, thank you, sir. New chapter.
I'm also not on any of the apps, so the apps are also, I guess, gone from this podcast.
Yeah,
podcast is remaining single, but app free.
App free. There you go.
I gotta say this before we kind of put this talk to rest.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite of the apps? Maybe just choose the major ones. If you have some like secret dark web app that you have to link with like girls of a certain height, keep that to yourself. I said Reddit. But out of the, Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, I don't know, is there any other big one like Christian Mingle, Black People Meet, whatever you could think of? Which one would be your favorite?
Probably Hinge. I think Hinge, it opens the door for that other person to like you as well. And they ask so many different questions. And you could send a message or they could send a message. Yeah. So I like that aspect of it. I feel like Tinder is the most surface level.
Tinder is a wild, wild west.
Yeah, it's just like just swipe and they swipe back. Like I never really got into Tinder like that. And then Bumble, like it's just, I don't really see a lot of activity on it. So yeah, I'll probably say Hinge was like, during my time, was like probably my favorite of the three.
Yeah, I would say Hinge as well is because you don't have to match with each other. Yeah. So someone who you necessarily, maybe you find them attractive, but they didn't stand out to you. And then they match with you and you're like, oh, okay.
And they ask you different questions so you can get like past the surface level shit. So I like that for sure.
Yeah, nah, I think that's good. Listen, big RIP. We definitely will have a little moment of silence.
It's not a big RIP. It's just RIP.
I think it's a big RIP because this pod is going to remain extremely single. So I would say that
extremely single. That's good. Yo, to be honest, like
I'm worried about Ralph and I'm speaking it.
I need to just experience, not like, I already said this last episode, but like I need to experience just being in my own energy for a while.
Yeah.
I can't just jump into like new situations like that. Although like I don't want to close the door if somebody of importance and somebody that hits like the criteria that I'm looking for, and I do for them too. If that comes, it comes. But I'm not gonna like fucking run up and down, look under the covers for another situation. So
that's a better way to do it, I think. Because if you're looking for it and being like super on it, you're gonna end up like, you know, psyching yourself out, or like just you're in that mindset of just looking. You're gonna
bend the rules for it to make sense.
You're gonna make a big deal about every person you meet and put them on this pedestal and like,
like, yo, the red flag's not red. It's like fuchsia. You know,
it's like when you're a Raptors fan and you try and squint to make every player into a star. And you're like, if Amir Johnson just gets a little bit more of a handle, he can be All NBA. Like that's what's gonna happen. You know, with dating, if you're really looking for it. So I think that's the right way to go about it in terms of like,
I feel
kind of letting it come to you. I think that's the way to go.
All right. Sounds good. So I appreciate you guys with the advice. Yes. We always listen to the fans, and the fans told us that we need top level guests. We need legends in the game. We need upcoming celebrities, upcoming staples in music. Adriel, introduce this guy. I'm done, man.
This is a legendary podcast. This is a classic in the making, because the last time we talked to this guy, he just got verified on Instagram.
Jeez, so blue check.
Yeah. You remember this now?
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And he had the fakes coming for him.
Jeez.
But he's got that all in the wraps now. We're talking about the living legend Clairmont II.
Talk to him.
What's going on? I appreciate that intro. That you guys gassed me up a lot.
For sure. You deserved it. You deserved it.
Man, for real.
Nah, you put a new project out randomly. I'll say random to me.
Okay.
I'll say random to me, because I definitely just seen the one single like on one of my playlists. I said, okay, new single. I said, okay, all right, bet.
Yeah.
I go on Instagram, full project.
Yeah.
So talk about that first and foremost. You're coming with surprise shit, because that really kind of threw me off.
Adriel, before we even get to that, man, can he tell the people who he is? Because we know who he is.
If you don't know, all right, you know what?
If you don't know, now you know, nigga.
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Tell people who you are if they somehow don't know. Yeah. Tell people who you are.
Sure. I'm Clairmont II. I just make stuff, man. At this point, like, I don't really want to, box myself into say like I'm a rapper, or I'm just kind of like a all around artist. Like I'm just kind of here, like in the cut, man, just making stuff, and been doing it for quite a bit. Like I feel like I'm a young old head. Like that's how long I feel like I've been in it, but like also been in this kind of like this steady like rising position like for a very, very long time. And I'm kind of like now stepping over that limbo position.
Yeah.
I just, that's who I am, man. I just make I direct videos, I edit them. I produce, I write, I made a short film that's coming on the next little bit. Like, so I just kind of just do it all.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So you guys some stuff coming out. I see. Okay.
For sure.
You know what? I think we should get to the album and all that a bit later, because I know you like to keep secrets. That's kind of like your thing. Nah, he's a secret keeping type of guy for sure. When it comes to
I respect niggas like you for sure.
So we're here to unlock all the secrets.
Absolutely. I'm here to talk.
Get all the exclusives. So we're gonna get to that. We're getting towards the last quarter of the year, so I've been thinking personally about my favorite albums. Freddie Gibbs just dropped. That's going into that group of best albums of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have my like group of my favorite albums, but I don't want to kind of distract from what you're gonna say. So what are kind of your like 3 or 4 albums that are your favorite albums of the year so far?
Like the most recent one that I really like is JID's last album.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Very underrated.
That one is crazy. Like
I think it's his best project.
I think so too. Like the stuff he's doing on that is like insane. Like just like from the vocal inflections. Well, obviously to the storytelling, like number one, but like the stuff he's doing with his voice, the way he's writing the beats, and like just kind of like what he's doing.
I think there's meaning in what he's saying now. I don't think he had that before.
You don't think so?
as much. No, he did, but it's like his words carry a little more weight now with this project. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this was. I think that like certain artists are getting more personal, and like I just think it's the time to do that. Like certain things need to be said, and like I think just even it's just an album that I feel like I needed to hear, personally, and like just like the like I feel like people aren't trying things musically anymore, and I feel like he's trying things musically.
This is his least safe of all his projects by a good mile.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
absolutely.
it. Sure.
So like just hearing people even or just seeing people have the confidence to do that, and in this day and age, in this in this current infrastructure, like I appreciate it because I'm like I just love art, and I like when like I could pick away like new things and different things, and I think that's like the most recent like albums across the board, man. Like I haven't like I'm so tapped out. Like I haven't listened to the Freddie album yet. Like I want to listen to that, but I've been listening to the singles leading up to it.
Yeah.
Freddie's crazy. Who else has dropped recently? Because like I might need to like refresh. Like I'm so tapped out.
Recently, I'm trying to think who I'm up on. Like my 3 are Pusha T, Saba, and Vince.
Okay.
Those are probably my 3 favorites.
I rock with those 3.
I like the Vince, the first project with the Vince Staples. That one I liked a lot. And my favorite track on that was I think it's the one with I think it's featuring
Boucher. Yeah. That track is tough.
That's like my favorite. That's my favorite track on there.
That song's a vibe. Yeah, Vince didn't have much vibes like that before. Like
he
was randomly.
I think he's actually like mad slept on in terms of like what he does, like the way he tells stories. Like
for sure.
And Earl said it a long time ago about how like effortless it is for Vince to like write a verse, and like he will kill you on your verse if you don't come correct. And like that's one thing that like I've always appreciated about Vince. But even with like his past project that I felt like was super slept on, which was Big Fish Theory.
Big Fish Theory was crazy.
That album to me is nuts, but like because it's more, I guess, like electronic.
I don't know.
And I put that in quotations because like there's still like very heavy like hip hop elements.
For
there's,
sure.
Like the genre bending, like that trap.
That track with Juicy J too.
Which that's I was up late night balling. Yeah.
Like,
bangers.
I feel like there's songs on there, like he has songs that more people I feel like would like, but maybe they don't get to hear it. It doesn't get in front of them. Because he strikes in one of those people where I'm like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be bigger. He's probably the least like lyrical, miracle, spiritual of all the dudes we've been naming this whole time.
For sure.
So it's like he should be the one who's like easy for people to understand and kind of get.
Yeah, I don't like at this point. Like I don't even like. I don't really. I don't know. The game is kind of interesting to me now. Like it's very. I trying to put together reasons like doesn't make sense to me anymore. Like why somebody's not as big or why somebody's bigger. Yeah. Other than like that's just kind of way it's the way it's set up. You know what I mean?
Sometimes his talent has to reach the right moment.
Yeah, the right moment, the right time, and even the right people too.
The right
like,
people,
you know what I mean?
Sometimes the right area. You got to hit the right demographic.
Yeah,
geographic. It's a lot that can go into somebody like really making it big for sure.
Absolutely, and like and people might hear one thing about Vince or one thing about whoever artist, and then like not give the stuff a chance because of what they heard from somebody else. So like that also like I guess caps that potential to, you know what I mean?
Do you guys remember when Lakeith Stanfield was moaning on Clubhouse?
Yes, I remember. Yeah,
I don't.
It was dark times. That was honestly that was COVID dark times. Yeah, that's probably the peak of the dark times of COVID.
Everyone went through COVID. It was all of us. It was all of us.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, that was an example for a little while. I was like, I don't know if I could watch a movie with this dude the same way.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't see that because I have a couple questions as to why that is. But
it was Clubhouse was a crazy place.
I might have to throw that in the pod. When you listen, you'll be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, nah. Clubhouse was a crazy place for sure. Yeah, you seen this thing that happened with 50 and his kid. We were talking about it a little bit when you took your call.
Yeah. Yeah, I took a business call because, there's so many deals on the table for the mayor's office podcast. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? I had to take that call. So I turned down the $150K deal and I'm looking at the $250K deal.
Good.
Always say no to the first one, right?
Yeah, always say no to the first one. So we'll see. Yeah, we're working on the million. But, yeah, I think his name's Marquise Jackson or whatever his name is.
Yeah, something like that.
He was claiming that he was receiving $6,700 a month. Like his mother was receiving that for his child support. And he was complaining that like, yo, this is not enough. Like I have to carry on a name like 50's my dad. You know what I mean? I don't really agree with that.
Yo, I was gonna say that amount is like enough for me,
brother. If my pops gave my mom $6,700, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. I'd be stunting.
Yeah, so I don't. He said that it's because I missed that part. He said it's because his dad, so he has to carry that name on. So he needs to be
so it's like
presentable in a certain way.
Presentable, and there's like ops, and people might try to rob him.
But didn't he take pictures with like 50 cents like ops? Like there's like I swear there was like a Twitter thing where he took like pictures with like. With just people who like, I guess
he's welcoming
really don't
the
like
danger.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're like trying to piss off your dad, taking pictures with people who hate him.
Yeah,
and you're saying that like I think he's just super entitled,
bro. His life is in a crazy place. Like honestly, obviously he has the internet for sure.
Yeah,
but what is his algorithm like that he thinks that this is gonna end with 50 Cent giving him more money? Has he not seen 50 Cent's behavior over the past? No, honestly.
In general, his behavior.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If I, from doing the math on this one, I would think that he's not going to get the money, So I think that's pretty crazy.
I think $6,700 a month is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
If you're getting that
at 25,
you're getting in your 20s, then I personally think,
I'm 25. I just turned 25.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
Imagine you're just getting $6,700. Like, okay.
I'm trying to live below my means, personally.
Like, come on.
If I could have that, like...
We're laughing right now.
Come on. That's
so,
crazy.
yeah, I think it is a sense of entitlement. And even his explanation just didn't make sense. Private schools and all. Yo, bro, nobody's telling you to go to private schools. Nobody's telling you to go on a fancy flight all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, bro, you and your, I don't know his family situation, but it's him and his mom. If you and your mom are getting $6,700 a month and you're fucking an infant, he's been getting this for 18 years, right? Your mom could work too, you know. Like, we can add to the $6,700. It just doesn't have to be Curtis's thing. You know what I mean? So that's where I don't really agree. Like I see a lot of deals where like, yo, some child support payments are ridiculous, bro.
50 is wrong for doing that diss track or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
He's wrong for that for trying to ask his son. He, shouldn't do that to his son.
100%.
But I feel like his son is in a crazy place mentally because you look. What do you think 50 was doing at that same age? Like, but if you put it that way, 50 is his father. Like I think about my dad. Like my dad at my age, like. I was already born. He's with my mom, all that kind of stuff. At his 50, when he was this kid's age, I think 50 would be doing something like this.
Probably not.
No, like I mean, it's pretty. If you can look up and see what kind of 50 was doing at that age, right? Like how he was moving and how he got into his rap career. The things that he went through and all that stuff. So. Like, yeah, he should have a little reality check and be like, look what the fuck my dad went through to build this empire.
The children's of stars.
Yeah.
And you'll realize this when you have a kid. Like when you're a superstar, like you will be, your kid is going to not have the same struggles and grind that you did.
Absolutely.
Right?
Circumstances much different.
Circumstances can be different. So he could look back and be like, oh, my dad was a gangster and this, that. Yeah. But yo, he can't follow it, bro.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No. But like just being able to see that, you would be like, okay, I should have more respect that he built this empire and created all this from that.
Nah,
I grew up with a silver spoon, but they never do. But
I think too, it's a lot of like a pocket counting because I think he's looking at it as well as his 80 USD, by the way, for all of our international listeners. 80,000 USD is what that adds up to.
I picked the wrong. Hold on. Say 80K one more time.
80K. USD.
There we go.
There you go. Like he's looking at his 80K and thinking it pales in comparison to whatever number he sees in a headline that 50 gets from
that's
whatever.
all his dad's money to begin with, though. Like it's not his money.
Yeah. And I think this is entitlement because it's like
shout out TV Gucci.
It's the amount you're thinking you deserve compared to the amount that you actually have. Because in reality, none of us deserve anything in this life. That's just how life goes.
Facts.
So for you at 25 to be getting like a free $80K just because of who your father is,
Yeah.
it's not going to replace the time that you want to spend with your father for sure. But what more do you think that you deserve?
Yeah.
Yeah, before he goes on social media and says, you know what, instead of airing out what the child support payments is, say, yo, I'm issuing a statement to my father, spend some time with me. I would respect that more on a man level still.
Yeah. If that's all you want, just say it.
Just say that.
People keep trying to like add the extras into things that don't need the extras.
Yeah.
Like, bro, just say what you mean. If that's what you mean.
That's what you want. When I saw the video that 50 did like about him or whatever, I'm like, this is real static. If my pops did a video like this towards me, like, what, like, this is a beef.
Yeah, I know, that relationship is definitely broken.
That's
definitely
beef,
strange.
you know, like your own father. And the thing is too is like, most of the time when you don't know your father isn't like incredibly accomplished. This is a rare situation where it's like, this is a rare situation. That was a layup. That was a lob. That was a lob.
You lined that one up for me.
That was a lob. That was a lob.
That one perfectly.
But I'm like, in this situation, like he may not have a relationship with his dad, but his dad is someone who's extremely successful in business. In a whole different way. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's some identity issues going on there.
I think that's what it is, yo. Because like, all right, me being on the opposite end, my dad is not 50 Cent. Nor will he ever be 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Just some time would be nice, you know? I can't get that back.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's how I think about all that. And yo, at the same time, this kid is probably like what, in his mid-20s? 50's an older gentleman. Yo, you're not gonna have not just time, but optimal time where 50's like active and you guys can go on a trip together and do that shit. Like those times the days are fading. Like he has more days of being older than he does of having optimal energy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you have to factor that in.
Yeah. There's this quote that I always say. I say it to my parents as well. You're going to be an adult longer than you're going to be a child.
Facts.
And I feel like parents don't always parent with that in mind.
Yeah.
You think of your child as this child all the time. And I think kids do the same with themselves.
That's a good point.
You know, and he's like, again, 25, like that's an adult at that point. But he's looking at himself as a child to some degree. And this is my father. When it's like, he should be thinking, how can I make my own way and be my own adult? But everything out of his mouth is kind of child talk. So you can tell that's where his mind is at.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like stuff behind it. There's obviously stuff behind the scenes that we don't see. And I think part of it started with like it was a tumultuous relationship with the mother, right?
Yeah.
I think. But it's just, it's a little disconcerting when you kind of see that stuff.
Facts. Going from one bad family dynamic to another one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this group called the Migos, based out of Atlanta.
Yes, absolutely.
The Migos is currently no more.
Yes.
It's just gonna be Quavo and Takeoff. Yeah. So you heard about that.
I've heard about that.
So before I even get into the album, how do you feel about the Migos breaking up?
Yo, honestly, like that one was kind of random to me. Like I feel like one day I just saw it was a Takeoff and Quavo track. And I'm like, oh, okay, like is these two doing a little thing? And then I guess they'll regroup for whatever in whatever years. But I feel like this was inevitable. Like this breakup was gonna happen sooner or later. I feel like years leading up to this, I've been seeing just, I don't know, like little things. I'm like, these guys are not gonna make it. Yeah. Like, and I think like part of it has to do with maybe the second project that they dropped not doing as well as like that first one.
The culture tape.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, and then obviously the behind the sscenes stuff, whatever strains that they had. But like, I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent to the whole thing. Like I'm not like somebody who was really tapped into that world so much. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Like I think that's the best way to put it. Like I don't like to. I hope that it ended on good terms. I'd like to think that.
I mean, they're still family at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, they're
right?
blood. But like, they're also in a business where like that could very well mean
it's
nothing.
Hard to mix the family with the business, especially when the business is $1 million business.
Yeah.
There's this layer that I've been thinking of, and this is pure speculation. So let me say that, pure speculation. In hip hop, we don't have a NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys. The closest we have to that in terms of black music is Michael Jackson with the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
But we don't have like this huge solo star coming from a group in hip hop in the same way. So the Migos are kind of following along that line of like the group stays a group. You may do some solo stuff, but no one's gonna become this huge star as a solo artist from a group. I think I said this before when he was on his call. I think Offset has that ability to be that like solo star.
You know what? That being said, I actually think that like even like Takeoff and Quavo doing their thing as a duo, and then Offset do. I think that might be better for all of them.
I think so.
I think it might be.
You want to know why? I think that too, and that's great that you brought that up. When they each had their chance to bring up their own solo project, Offset had the best solo project in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
Quavo's was okay. Takeoff's was okay, but Offset's like he stood far above the rest of them. So like for them to connect once in a while as Migos, that would be a perfect world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. If those two, if Quavo and Takeoff do their own thing and Offset does his own thing, I respect that. The album's hard.
Yeah, and then basically on even a chemistry level aside, I mean, I think musically it just makes sense. Like
I was gonna say song structure wise, that was kind of their problem with the second culture, because on the like getting 3 people to do a verse on songs that are 2.5 minutes is like
it's tough.
Everyone's doing it 8, you know, like especially those guys. Of course, is gonna play at least 3 times. No one's getting a full verse. It's not gonna be fully fledged out every time. But on the first culture, there was moments where like Takeoff might just have a bridge, and it's mostly Quavo and Offset, or the song where it's like
Offset was in jail for a portion, right?
So much of their career leading up, it was like they had more that freedom to be like, we don't all have to fit on every song.
Yeah.
I feel like once they became big, it was like, no matter the song, the structure, we all got to be on it. When sometimes as a group, it's like, that's not always the best song. You know? So I feel like now they have more of that artistic freedom because they're not confined together to be like, we got to be on every song. You know, it can be like, this can just be the idea. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, like a lot of, I feel like, I wish more like artists kind of thought about things from the perspective of like, yo, what is the right thing for this song, as opposed to just doing something because like the label says to do it, or like this could possibly make us more money.
Yeah.
So like them all being on the song together, or like each having a verse, like sometimes not every song calls for that.
Exactly.
Sometimes the song just calls for, maybe the song calls for one of them to be on the verse and then one to do ad-libs.
But who's the person
Bad
to
and
say? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But who's the person to say, yo, do this, and maybe this song would be better suited for that? These guys are young and they all have ego, right?
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part.
I think that's why Clairmont was right when you said like it's better they broke up, because I don't think they have the wherewithal with each other to do that.
Yeah.
I think about who, what, when, and why with Travis Scott. Like basically they all have like a 4, and then Quavo has an 8.
Yeah.
And it's like this song features all of them, but Travis Scott has basically like, most of the song, and then someone gets a 4, someone gets an 8. I couldn't see them doing that themselves. That makes any sense. Like if it was them in charge of a song like that, it would be like, I'm getting an 8, he's getting an 8, he's getting an 8, and then maybe we'll do the chorus together.
Yeah.
But someone else stepping in will say, you know what, Quavo, these 2 lines, that's all we need from you today.
Yeah.
So I think
that makes sense.
That's helpful.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's like if you were doing the Album Mode podcast with you, me, and DeMar, right? Like it's all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you have to break off and like come with me and Chris to do the Mayor's Office podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's more than I.
Exactly.
There's like
horns.
literally.
Yeah, we need DeMar on the podcast, man. I keep going at him on the lows.
Strays. No, I love it. I love it.
And then like it's a common like, well, I don't know if it's common, but like I've recently been like looking at kind of the lineage of like artists that have ended up becoming like legends in music, and they all came from either a conglomerate of people or whatever, but like they ended up doing their solo thing because it just made the most sense. So like even looking at like New Edition, and then like then from that you get like Ralph doing his own thing, then you got BBD, and then you got like Johnny Gill doing his thing, like just seeing that, and then like finding out that what's his name from BBD discovering Boys to Men, like there's like, and then
that tree starts to form
exactly, and then like looking at like just the Basement Crew in the 90s, so like Devontae Swing, who's like the mastermind behind Jodeci, and like he's the one who was producing everything, but like discovering Missy Elliott, you know, and that crew also consisting of like Genuine, and whatever, like they're
all those,
they're a crew, but they all kind of like, obviously that situation is a little different. Like there is unfortunately like just bad like habits from Devontae, and that's why his name is not brought up, and it's an unfortunate situation. But like Missy doing what she does, and then like just like bringing along Timbo and like Tweet, but like they're also gonna do their own things, you know. Like it's just necessary sometimes.
Especially too, I think it's a matter of the success you have individually and together, because sometimes you might not feel as confident that you can have that success one way or the other. You think about Wu-Tang, how everyone kind of separated and did their own thing, but they all had different levels of success. And I think that that's a part of it, as well as like,
absolutely.
As Amigos, we had the #1 song and the #1 album at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I have had hits as Quavo, I have had hits as Offset, I've had hits as Takeoff, but I've never done what we've done together.
Exactly.
And so I think you said everyone's branching off. Like, to branch off, I think is another level of confidence of being like, we've achieved a lot together, working with you, but I can believe that I can achieve just as much on my own.
I feel like it might have even been late for them to branch off. Now that I think about it, because like the culture now is milking something.
Yeah.
So like, let's say, I can't remember the year, but like Bad and Bougie, like you know, they're on top of the world. They have the biggest project and whatnot. The necessary thing in a business mind is to like, let's do it again. Like, I honestly feel that if they probably did the split at that point and just kind of let the art kind of do its thing.
They did take too long to drop the solo project. You're absolutely right.
And I think like, I think like a lot of people need to stop trying to milk something and do something because it's necessary. They should do something because it is necessary.
People are focused on the algorithms now as opposed to the creativity.
Yeah.
So the creativity is always going to struggle because now the person you're answering to and the person signing your checks is focused on the algorithm, right? Yeah. So it doesn't even just happen with music. It happens with television shows.
Absolutely.
It happens with movies.
Everything.
You know what I mean? All the big board members aren't people that actually care about the quality of the television show or the song. It's literally, we have this algorithm set up on Spotify or Netflix or whatever the fuck, Disney Plus, and we need to hit those marks.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you see it with the Migos, and then you'll see it with the MCU.
Like,
you know what I mean?
So you'll see it with video games too. Video game companies, same thing. Like it's all connected.
And it's hard to quantify in the moment as well. Like, I think when something is culturally, artistically above, but maybe I might not sell as much, after the fact, you can see like the legs that has. Like something like The Wire, for example. In the moment, very different story. But now, any executive, whatever, can see that show has an effect. Something in the moment is way harder to quantify that. And you can say, listen, look at my mentions. Like every day someone's bringing, but that might not be as much as only so many people stream this.
Yeah.
And so it's like having that middle ground to be like, I know what your numbers may say about what this is, but the impact is bigger than that.
So do you guys ever think, like, I think to myself sometimes about this, like how many stories, how many artists, how many songs have been left on the cutting room floor because somebody just didn't believe in them?
Yeah.
Oh,
like, you know how many Kanye Wests there could be? You know how many
absolutely
Kevin Feige's from the MCU? You know how many of those type of people there could be? Steven Spielberg's because somebody didn't want to give them a chance.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just a board of executives that are just sitting around like, nah, fuck this. Let's reboot fucking the Mummy franchise.
Yo,
like
I think about that with songs that actually do make it, because sometimes the ones that make it are only because it's from a certain name. So songs that like might be Kanye didn't want it, but it finds someone because it was Kanye's one that didn't want it.
True.
And if it was so-and-so artist who had the same song, it never would have made it. So you're right. It's like that person may not have the cachet to get, whatever
it's
that plug
unfortunate,
is.
because that's like, you can't really teach someone to kind of just be like, you know what, they're not going to mess with me. I'm just going to do it myself. And like a lot of people don't think they can do it themselves. A lot of people don't believe in themselves. And like, it's unfortunate. And I like you could kind of teach that, but like at the end of the day, like it's kind of like, is it in your personality to be like, you know what, like I'm not listening to what.
Some people just need funding, or they just need somebody to just say, fuck it, yo, you go live your dream. I'm gonna back it, and then we'll see how it goes.
You know what the thing is, man, and like I know like a lot of people don't agree, but I think that like if you could get access to like not even a lot of money, like just like a decent amount to get like basic level things, like that could take you very, very far.
If you're creative enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like part of it is the creative, and then part of it is the drive. And I feel like, and like some people are just not built that way. Like quite frankly put, like, because when I think about how I started and how I got to where I am, it's not because of I had funding or like an insane amount of money. It was because I didn't have an insane amount of money. And that's why I'm able to do what I do, because I'm like, all right, well, I have to make this work somehow.
Yeah.
And like a big part of that was just knowing what to do with what I had. And people are not focused on like, yo, like, okay, I have access to a crappy $20 mic and like a $500 laptop. How can I
make it work?
Yeah, people are like, oh, no, that's not enough.
Yeah.
But it's like, nah, like there's ways. Like there's ways.
Oh, you can figure it out.
There's ways.
I
man.
think
I'm
also
telling you.
something about you that you have is you're like an artistic person where that's a lot of what your focus is.
Yeah.
Is like, what is this going to be artistically? Like the selling part of it and the promotion part of it, obviously, you know, there's art in that as well.
Yes.
But I feel like you don't go into making your art with that in mind. It's like the art first, and once it's done, you're like, okay, how do we?
Absolutely. Like the art will definitely, and people don't really do this, but for me, I find like I let the art kind of dictate the rollout. I let it dictate the business side of it. Like, what does it look like? What's like, how do I want to conduct business? Like, or like I let the project or whatever that project is kind of like
decide.
Do that itself rather than the other way around, because then I'm not making what I need to make in my rawest form. And I think a big reason why people don't believe in themselves or like think they could do it with little is because nobody actually tells them that they can. And I think a lot of people are like, yo, I hate when people say that you could do it yourself and well, like you can't, like you need this, you need that. I'm like, you don't, like you really don't, but no one's telling you that. No one's telling you. Like I'm grateful enough that like, you know, like I have family that does music and things like that, and we're always in it. But like nobody told me to like borrow my brother's mic.
You have to figure it out.
Like nobody told me to do that. Luckily, and I was able to kind of pick that up myself. But when I think about that come up, and I think about like I had to just make it work. Nobody's relaying that message. I don't see that message relayed. I kind of do, but like not really.
It's not. And I think here's the thing that we've gotten lost over this whole time is that now the idea of success seems way more attainable. But there's a reason why there's only a few Jay-Z's, Kanye's, whoever. You know, there is still kind of a gate in front of that version of success. And this book that I'm reading, it says, like, on the other side of tribulations is where success lies. And I give an example of all these people who went through, like, you know, their house burning down, losing family, moving to a new country without knowing the language. Nelson Mandela, who was in jail for several years. And it's like, whatever was great about them, those situations brought that out of them. And so I feel like there's people who are probably talented and really good, but they're more on like, they need a team, a push, you know, to do all the stuff they need to do. And they can't do it on their own. And so it's like, you kind of got to know where you stand. Like, which one are you? Are you the artist who's like, yo, just give me the phone and a mic and we can make it work? Or are you the person who's like, you got to tell me how to rap?
For sure. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I definitely know that like some people just don't have that. And like some people need a team. But like, yo, ask your friends to help if they're down. Like, that's how it starts. Like, and like for me personally, like the reason my team is not large right now is because like I want to pay people. Like that's the thing I want, but I'm not able to do that. But I also like realize, and I had to learn is like, yo, there's people that are like down to help. Like just to help because they want to be a part of what you're doing. Exactly. So like if there's any place that people can, I'd be like, you know what, like you can help here. You can help here. Like, and I've also been feeling like for myself, like I actually want to be kind of in that position where I want to be a part of cool things. Like I don't even know how I feel about being the main artist anymore. If I'm keeping it a stack, like I'm thinking about like, yo, just producing for a bit or thinking about just like developing or like just being.
Bro, you got to go where your creative mindset
that's
is leading
exactly,
you.
Exactly.
I agree.
And like whatever opportunities I feel like God just like placing in my face, like I need to like pay attention to those. And like I used to fight them a lot more, but like I never ended up being like happy. And like I had to pay attention to that gut feeling and also just like what's there. Like the answers are right in my face.
One thing you said that was kind of interesting just now was, yo, ask your friends. Yo. If you're confused about something, ask your friends.
What?
Like, bro, we're episode 23, right?
Yeah.
How many episodes are you in on your longest running podcast? In your
220?
220, right? And we're on episode 23. So you have pretty much about 200 episodes on this, right? Yeah. Before this podcast, I've never podcast once in my life, right? I've never sat in a podcast. I never did nothing, right? But for me to have the wherewithal to say, okay, which friend can I link that I feel like I can create something with? that meant the world to me that I was able to call. I'm not trying to boost you on the podcast, but that meant the world to me that I was able to call somebody and be like, yo, let's create something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I definitely understand where you're coming from because now it's like, it's 23 episodes, but it's like, it could have just been 5.
For
You
real,
know what I mean?
for real.
You could have just said, yo, fuck this. I got my other thing going on. Let me just stay in that lane and not want to do this. So it's like, you have to give these things a chance. You have to talk to the right people, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you talk to the wrong people in your circle, they could put you down too.
Yeah.
You could have easily answered the phone and been like, yo, nigga, like, come on, bro. What are you on?
You're not going to be the next so-and-so.
Get out of here, you fake Joe Budden. Like, say some shit like that.
But it's like, and I find like situations like that so sad when people say that. It's like, yo, how do you think they got in that position? Like, they had to do it too.
And
like,
that's the thing. I'm happy you said, like, ask your friends, because I feel like whatever you're doing, like, your thing has to grow past your friend group, obviously. Like, whatever you're working on has to grow past your friend group. But I think that is part of your own psyche that we don't even we don't realize it ourselves. Like, your friends believing in you, you could be like, yo, I got this. Like, I know I could do this, whatever. But like, your friends believing in you does have an effect. Whether you believe it or not, it has an effect. So I think about when I started the Cool Table, and 2 of my friends who are working with me show at all anymore, like, literally came with the cameras, audio set up, brought the ice cream. Like, it was literally like 5 of us on those first like 2, 3, 4 shoots.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, I was so grateful to have like 5 people on set for the first ever shoots that I'm doing of this. It's like, okay, I'm not the craziest person ever. The things could work, you know? So I think you gotta kind of be real with yourself and say, I want them to believe in what I'm doing. They might not want to help, but I do actually want them to believe, because I feel like that makes a difference.
It hurts.
On that point, I got a question for you. You can put the right people around you that want to benefit and big you up, but there's also some people around you that may want to pull you down. Like, how do you find like who that right friend is to be like, yo, this guy is able to like help and elevate me, and this guy, maybe the lane that I'm going in life and the direction I'm going in life, maybe he's not the biggest benefit to me right now. Like, how do you figure that out?
Man, like, that one is like, I don't believe like it has like there's a clear-cut answer. In regards to me, man, like, I'm like blessed enough to have like the people that I went to school with all my life, that I've known from children, like still my friends to this day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even then, like, like, it's been very smooth for me in terms of like having to choose who I need to, like, obviously hard decisions had to be made, but I think it's, there's signs, like, you could see like, okay, you know what, maybe hanging out with this person as much is not doing well for me. It's not doing well for like what my intentions are with whatever I'm doing. And then, like, you know, I don't know if this is like the way to do it, but like sometimes you kind of slowly distance yourself. And, you know,
or hang out with them in different types of circles.
So that's a big thing too for me recently. Like, there's people that I thought that like I wasn't sure if I was cool with, but like it really just depends on the settings and like just knowing where to put people in your life and where they belong in your life.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you necessarily know when that is, but I think like if something is going wrong, if you're hanging out with a person in a certain space or whatever, maybe it's time to kind of, you know, change that up.
Trust yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Trust yourself.
Yeah.
When you started talking, like at the beginning, when you're like, yo, I'm on that steady climb and I'm seeing that, right? You got there because of your intuition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could apply that same intuition on the people in your life.
Absolutely.
Right? You can be like, you know what? I have this intuition that I'm growing, and the reason I'm growing is because I'm doing X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
This person over here is doing A, B, and C. Maybe they're not like the right person on that path for me to like continue up that ladder. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, like I was gonna say, like, I've definitely been in situations like even very recently, like, oh, you know what? Maybe like this is not who I include in this because like the visions are being crossed or like, or just even like what I'm about as a human being is not the same. So maybe like if I'm with this person in this setting, that's cool. But like in this setting, like you know, and I think it's, as you said, like trusting yourself and like I don't know, like I feel like there are people who are kind of tapped out to not listening to themselves and like, but like I kind of just feel it. Like this feels like it's not the same anymore, but like really taking the time to analyze and really taking the time to yourself to think about it. Nobody takes time for themselves anymore. Everybody's on a go mentality. And like, I feel like people's minds and like souls are like suffering because nobody's paying attention to themselves. Everybody's a business first now as opposed to a human first.
Yeah.
Especially because I think when you come to those situations, you have enough information to make that decision.
Yeah.
And sometimes you question yourself because it's a hard decision or you didn't want it to go this way.
Yeah.
But someone you've known for enough time, or even just knowing yourself and knowing what you want is enough information for you to say, okay, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what it takes to get what I want. I want to talk about the album because we're getting super carried away with this.
Like, yo, you gotta cut these people out.
Fuck
these niggas.
The cover with the upside down triangle. What's all that about? Like, what's that cover? Because I feel like this is probably the cover where you're the most noticeable. Like, any sense? Like, someone could be like, oh, that's Clairmont.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So talk about the cover.
Yeah, man. Like, I just knew. Like, I just knew that, like, so I shot that with, so B handles, like, he does.
Here's all your stuff,
photography, videos, like, we do it together. So, I'm like, like, I needs to be me. The fro needs to be parted a certain way. Like, I drew it before, like, we shot it.
Okay.
And I'm like, I need to be in this. Like, it's just stuff that, like, felt right.
Yeah,
like,
you saw it.
Yeah, and like just thinking about all my influences and like the type of like art they had and costumes and things like that. I would say like this is like the first time I like fully dove into a I guess like a character for a project. So yeah, like the cover is super is natural.
Cozy.
Like I just knew like it needed to look like this, and I knew what it's gonna feel like. And so B shot it on film, and then essentially I kind of put it together or we put it together in Photoshop, and then we printed it off each piece, and then we cut it out, and then we restructured it. So if you look at the cover again, you could see that there's like the picture of me and the triangle is like sitting on top of the
background. Yeah.
So we went really hard with like.
Also, you actually cut it out and did that.
Yeah, we actually cut it out.
Okay, that's tough.
Yeah, so a lot of the project and like what it sounds like and what it feels like is a very analog based and just things from like things inspired by stuff from like 70s and 80s and Prince. Funkadelic, etc. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and that's how like the cover came.
But you're like, I would say your content when on the last project, you were very like, I don't want to say anti-materialistic, but you're talking about taxes. You remember that? You're talking about like, this one there's still like a bit about your like relationship with materialism, but you're talking about like making more money, but how you're spending it, what you're doing with it. Like, talk about what was going on that made you, because there's a few songs have like that mention of like your juxtaposition with those two things.
There's like I've been in positions in my life, like I've been backed into a corner over the like I would say like since pandemic started till about kind of where we are right now. I've been put in situations where I never thought I would be in terms of like hardships, like things that like I would see in movies, and like, I'm actually like going through this right now. I'm actually broke right now, like all these different things. And so as I'm going through it, I'm writing like and then it all just kind of
came
together on this prelude. Yeah, I've been calling it a prelude.
For the full.
So like, cause it's only 4 songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a prelude to the bigger project that have coming out. So at some point, it's ready.
He's a secretive guy.
It's ready, but like there's stuff to do first. But
is the film tied with the new project or
separate? the film is called Full Circle.
So the film is part of the prelude.
It's a part, but
it's like the in between this and
it's like a segue. So like there's like when I thought of the whole concept of the project, I'm like, the film's gonna look like this. It's gonna be inspired by this. This is what it's gonna feel like. This is what it's gonna sound like. And did a short film with a couple of my friends, and B shot it, and like we made a 25-minute film.
Damn.
So like it's alongside the project. We're kind of like figuring out the best way right now to kind of put it out.
Yeah.
There's been a couple options, but like I I had an intention and I had a purpose for like how I was gonna put it out and whatnot. But obviously, as time progresses, like certain things come up and whatever. So I'm like, oh, like maybe I'll ask about this person about this in regards to the film, or like this and that. And it's not moving on my timeline anymore. And it's like, okay, I need to stop changing what like my plan was. Like plans do change. Like, don't get me wrong. Like they change. Like if it's necessary for the plan to change, then it should. But if there's a reason why I wanted to do something and it was important to me,
but it's at the cost of your creativity.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like sticking and going back to like what like we need to actually do. And that's the like for like even with this rollout, it's like it's not done. Like the project is short, but the rollout's not finished. There's still stuff in between. And I knew that for like this super major rollout, like it has to be done this way, regardless of who's in my ear about this or who's in my ear about that. Because the intention is the important part to me.
Yeah, what I want to know, is it going to be the same kind of character for the new project? I know the film is kind of,
like next question.
Yeah and no.
Okay.
And no. Like you'll see it all tie in really, really cool. Like it's been thought about pretty deeply.
I will, of course.
But yeah, yes and no.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you have coming next, because I feel like at the beginning you talked about the up, but I feel like every time you drop, it's like a reminder of like the up, you know? Because I remember, this is like, oh my God, years ago when I first started at the station, so like 2017. You were someone who got getting mad play on the station. But it's always a reminder when you come back of like, oh, he's up here at this level. You know? So I feel like this time going forward with this rollout is going to be more reminder. Are you thinking about that more? Because I feel like when you come back out, everyone's like, oh, he one of the dogs. But when you're gone, it's like we forget about him. And then when you're
the humility of it.
Are you conscious of that now more with what you're doing? Especially because the pandemic is like everyone's seeing shit differently.
I don't know, like it's just very like, man, I don't know. Like I think that I definitely don't care as much as I used to in terms of like needing to be bigger. Like I really like I wanted to, and then there was a point where I thought I didn't care about fame. But like if I didn't care about fame as much as I thought I didn't, then I wouldn't be getting mad at certain things that are direct relation to that. So I had to like essentially recalibrate and restructure why I do what I do in the first place. And so like even like becoming bigger like started meaning a lot less to me. But more so just kind of being like, yo, am I able to live? Am I able to get what I need to get? And am I able to create what I want to create in the way that I want to create it? And that's like been the biggest thing. But I think about it all the time. Like I've been in like this steady rising position where I've been like Toronto's like golden child for like since like 2014. Like I've literally been seeing headlines saying that up until like whatever. So it's like, damn, like what, like why can't I
break through?
But I really feel like with this last project and just like things that are lined up in the background, like this will finally be the time where I could like, because I've been in this position where I'm too big for the small things and too small for the big things. So I'm in like my own like limbo, like just this world by myself trying to like figure out how to like navigate. Like I finally sold out like a show that I didn't like.
That's big.
You know, like that's the first time I did it, but I've been, I would say, involved in the scene or like the music industry since like 2014. So like to only do it now, like I've like lost faith in like this whole thing. I'm like, yo, like what's going on? Like why can't I? But you know, my intentions are different now. Like what I think about is different now. And like now it doesn't mean as much, but I also know that I'm gonna be okay. Like now I know. Like now I know. Like all right.
Now
like there's stuff lined up where I'm like, okay, cool. Like once this presents itself to the world, like and I know like how people are gonna react.
It'll manifest.
And I'm talking about like things that are not necessarily have to do with music, but just like in terms of like what I'm about to be a part of, or like what I'm about to do and things like that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like we talked about this years ago a lot, like your music being heard, because that middle ground of like not caring but still being aware, I think is like a hard, like I really commend anyone who can kind of strike that balance, because it's hard to ride that line. But do you think about your music kind of getting like certain awards or recognition? Because I remember last time we talked about it with the last album, It's Not How It Sounds.
Yeah.
And I think I said this verbatim, like if this album was put out by so-and-so, it would be Grammy nominated, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I still feel like that's the case with some of your music. And I think that that's changing. That's why I'm asking, because I think that's changing, where you're seeing dudes who are not as big like Freddie Gibbs or even Nas or even Griselda or even Staples, like we mentioned, who like they're not as big as whatever, but people can say they're just as good, or their music is on that level. Do you think about that? Because I feel like a lot of the dudes who are, you know, getting a lot of recognition don't make half the music that you make. So do you think about your music getting that recognition?
Yeah, like one of those things, like not as much anymore. Like I've kind of come to the conclusion that based on what I've seen so far, like there's a lot of theatrics behind the scene. There's a lot of just like not realness. Like it's just not real. Like a lot of things are structured. A lot of things are set up that way. I used to care about being nominated for this or nominated for that, realizing like, as opposed to like just getting mad about it, kind of like analyze and view like, why am I not being nominated for this? And why am I not? And then like I started noticing patterns. And then I started getting like insights about certain things. And I'm like, okay, like this is structured. Like
it's set up this way.
You know what I mean? Like, of course I can't be here because I'm too raw. Like I'm too raw in this form, and like the way I'm doing it, I'm not connected to a certain group of people where like I'm probably more guaranteed a chance to be entered into this, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that like, yo, if you're not a part of this conglomerate or you're not a part of this group of people, then you can't. And like, I think people fold under that pressure. I'm done folding under that pressure. Like I'm done trying to like make that happen. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't align with what I'm doing. And like,
bro, air horns for that, fam. Air horns.
You know, like I'm not like, I used to want to be friends with this certain group of people so bad, but like they're not trying to be my friend. But there's people here that want to be my friend.
There's people right here that want to be your friend.
There's people right here. So like that's who I need to pay attention to. Not to all like I don't like those people anyways. What's the point? You know what I'm saying?
To him, bro.
No,
like,
that shit gives me hope, because I feel like a switch is happening. We talked about Glorilla last week. I think she's part of that as well. I talked about Offset with the dancing. I think there's a change where just whoever's making the best music
100%.
will be the people who will rise to the top, because
just got to do it.
Like I review albums every single week. Some of these albums have half the songs are good, and it's 18 songs. You know, like, and half the songs are good. So I think that there's even more of a kind of a premium on the people who make those good projects. And slowly we're learning, like as a community, as a people, we learn things slow. You know,
funny you say that. So I was gonna say, like, I'm also like done trying to like think about where a song could be placed based on when I make it, or like I always made what I wanted to make, but definitely I had like, okay, like I kind of want to do this because like of this. I'm done with that because I realized that like nobody knows what they want. Like listeners actually don't know. There's things that
you gotta tell them what they want.
Exactly.
Train your audience.
Train your audience.
I've tried to like I've tried to do the and it doesn't matter because there's things that I knew would be something, but because I listened to like just one person, it wasn't what it ended up being. Like I've been dabbling in R&B for a very, very long time.
I've been.
Yeah, like I've been like since like early projects, like there's that element has been there.
I first heard you R&B before your rap stuff.
Exactly. I've been told that like, oh, this is too slow. Or like, why is this the single? Or I'm like, yo, my song Dream, I'm like, this song is going to be the biggest one because I feel like there's something that is said on it that needs to be heard, and like people will gravitate to it, they'll feel it. And it ended up being the biggest record on that project.
Yeah.
Cause I know, cause I'm making it. Like I'm not, and like a lot of these I don't know, like industry teams or whatever, and or like labels, whatever. And I'm not trying to diss labels, but like they look at things from a very backwards, very outdated.
We just talked about it. Yeah, that boardroom full of old white guys.
I'm telling you, like the fact, like I should be able, like based on what I do, I should be able to kind of walk into anything and they offer me the bag just based on what I do.
Literally.
But
there's politics.
There's politics and everybody's in the game of quick money.
Yeah.
So they're not trying to take the chance.
They don't want to invest.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, let me do it with myself. And like I've been able to do some pretty cool things that I'm very grateful for. And like I'm very appreciative like for what I'm able to do and like everybody I've been connecting with in the last little bit and just like this all the theatrics behind it, like the streets will speak at the end of the day.
Bro, the quality is gonna speak at the end of the day. Yo, funny story, I never told you this. So my boy, he lives in you met him, C4. He's in Jamaica or whatever. So he's driving with his girlfriend in the car, right? And he's playing our podcast, right? So she's not really like super paying attention. So she listens to a little bit and she's like, "Oh, is this Desus and Mero?" She's like, he's like, "Nah, babe, it's Ralph and his boy." So you know what I mean? Like it takes a certain point when you cross that threshold, and then the people will see. The right people will see. So I guess the biggest thing is just sticking with whatever your craft is. Because too many people fucking give up too early, bro.
The right people, man. The right just things being the right thing is such a big part that everybody leaves out.
This is the last thing before we go into our non-rap suggestion of the week. We have to remember that streaming lasts forever. And I think especially when it comes to music, podcasts, even TV, like you can listen to whatever song you like whenever you'd like. Yeah. You don't need to have that physical CD in the car. You can listen to whatever song you like whenever you'd like. Yeah. And like in the moment, things may feel a certain way, but as you go, like there's pods that I listen to now where if I'm new to the pod, I'll go back and listen to as far back as I can. Yeah. You know, just because I have extra episodes. And so that's going to happen with the quality of the stuff that we do. So I feel like that's what we have to always remember is, 40 years from now, when everyone's, dying of world hunger and all they have is their iPod Nano, they can go and listen to whatever they want to listen to.
That's facts. Yeah. That's facts. That's big facts. Streaming is going to be here forever. So.
At this point, like, it's not going back.
You got to put out your quality.
Come on, I listen to Sade
unless the internet breaks, yo.
If the internet breaks,
I've been thinking about that, bro.
If the internet breaks,
we've seen it kind of break already. When the Rogers thing went out, like you couldn't even get into the stadium.
Niggas were losing their minds, bro.
Yo, and like and that like although I'm definitely very like aware of like the streaming thing, but like that's why I always make sure
if the internet breaks, back up
somewhere.
Yeah.
Because like and like if I could like. I need to be able to touch things.
I walk on my hard drive, eh?
Yeah, I have my hard drive in my bag.
My bag too.
I have an MP3 player type. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have to touch it. Like I have to have
like
it.
10 episodes in the tuck.
I'm scared, bro. I'm scared.
I gotta show the aliens when they land, yo. It's my pod, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Aliens will love the pod.
Yeah. Like, okay. 2 blacks.
Don't kill me.
So you talked to Clairmont about this
non-rap suggestion.
Oh yeah? All right. So we'll have you go last then. So I'll go first. So Tory Lanez put out a tape not too long ago. He had a song called No More Parties in LA. It's very similar to the song on Life of Pablo title with Kendrick. Yeah. So, but it was actually a good song. Okay. So it's not better than that song, but it's a good song. You guys should check that out. No More Parties in LA, Tory Lanez.
I'm going to add that to mine right now.
Perfect.
This one from mine.
No Parties in LA.
No, there you go. No, I spell parties.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it is No More Parties. All right, cool.
No More Parties in LA. My suggestion, this song came out probably like a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. Omar Apollo and Daniel Caesar. Ooh. This one's called Invincible. I would say it's a fairly popular song. A lot of people know this song, but if you somehow don't know this song, this is like one of those smooth tracks that has enough like, of a pace to it that you can add it to several playlists.
Bro, I just started listening to Omar Apollo. See, it's right there, Invincible and Evergreen. Evergreen, I was like, yo, this is my shit.
He just did a Tiny Desk. So they talked to him, but he's tough.
Yeah, that was on my recently liked for sure.
That Omar Apollo Down Caesar connection. Yeah, A1. What's your non-rap suggestion?
Oh man, hey.
You said third.
I said he's going last.
Oh, facts. These niggas is getting enough of me. Last time I had y'all meet people.
I just watched the documentary on Netflix with Creedence Clearwater Revival on them. So Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Okay.
All right.
I gotta check that out too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 90s. Mint Condition song "So Fine." I think Mint Condition, underrated group. The main lead vocalist, who's also the drummer of the band, which is like not something that's very common. Stokely Williams. I think he's an underrated vocalist. I think like he has a very like his range is insane. But the harmonies are nuts on that. Just a nice R&B track from the 90s. That one of my favorite songs I've been playing a lot since I first heard it.
I was gonna say, like, what I'm learning from this episode is that you're in a real R&B vibe right now.
Yeah.
New Edition, boys.
I grew up listening to like rap. Wasn't like I was introduced to rap like much later. It was gospel first, and then like R&B, neo soul, and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I grew up on. I like the rap, but like a lot of the stuff that I prefer to listen to like is very melodic based, whether that's gospel music, R&B, soul, funk, things like that. So yeah, I'm a big like R&B fan, especially 90s specifically.
I'm telling you, man, that 90s R&B, like that is like Desert Island, like music for sure, like 100%.
Harmony Game in the 90s was insane. Harmony Game was untouched.
Yeah,
like just the vocalist and the style, like the fashion, like I just love the whole, like even in hip hop too, like I just love the whole.
Yeah. There's an individuality that we got to get back, 100%.
Yeah. Can't beat 90s. Yeah. So we got our last portion of the podcast, the Creator Showcase. I wanted to give a big shout out to one of my close friends, Quasi, aka Junior. He started the Reach series. It's a series where he tries to bring about awareness for you to receive as many benefits as you can in order to grow. He works hard at trying to figure out the right donations for people, the right connections, the right avenues that people can take in order to either grow themselves or grow their business. He's been doing a lot of speaking sessions. He's been doing a lot of events. He's been participating in a lot, and he's a super young guy. And to see someone of that age want to build and grow their community, it's a big inspiration for me because I'm old and I'm trying to build and grow my community. So to see that and to see that in someone younger is big. So shout outs to Junior with the Reach series for sure. And shout outs to the general, the guy that came out of his way to pull up to the mayor's office podcast, Clairmont. God damn.
I really appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for having me here, man.
Is this your first podcast?
No.
He was on my podcast.
Oh, okay. Fair.
That has to count.
I've been on a couple. A couple? Yeah.
I respect the fact that you knew you've been on a couple, but you hesitated so I could feel good. I don't want to fuck with this nigga right now, bro. This is my 7th podcast.
Man, neither know.
Boy.
So you know who I am?
You don't see the verification?
Yo, I tried to get Clairmont to talk his shit for this whole entire podcast. And this man remained humble throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
I really tried. I was trying to bait you with the talk here. Yeah, and you would not do it.
Yo, I'm sorry, man.
You would not do it.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm tired of being like angry, bro. Like it gets exhausting, man.
Yeah. Listen, you got a lot of heat coming out, so we'll see how the streets react if that battery comes back to your back.
Yo, everyone's like, yo, Clairmont. Like I had friends make jokes like, yo, like you're a nice guy, but like I hear some of those lyrics, you're kind of mean. Like, I'm like, here and there,
just
like,
a little bit.
I feel it. Like sometimes, I'm like,
there's a version of you that's talking your shit for sure.
For sure. I think everyone has that switch.
For sure.
But no, I really appreciate you guys so much for having me. Like it means a lot. I don't take it for granted, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for sure, bro. Chris, what's going on with you before we close up the pod?
Chilling, man. Just, doing some different things in the studio. I don't know if people can tell, but a little different layout here. I don't know. Can I plug something?
Of course. Do your thing,
I'm
bro.
I'm about to actually drop my podcast.
Shit. Congrats, man.
I have interview number 3 and 4 lined up tomorrow. Already did 2.
That's big.
So I got 3 and 4 tomorrow, so I'm gonna have 4 in the tuck. Hopefully next week start doing clips. It's called the Let Me Say It podcast, and I'm just like interviewing people, see where it goes.
That's
See what
pretty
turns into.
sick.
That
Stacks
sounds
Edwards
like-
on the
Yeah.
pod.
Next creator showcase. All right. I see
So,
that.
does this bring Chris up the content creator rankings?
Yeah, he's up there. We did
I
a
don't
content
know.
creator ranking before. I posted like 2 TikToks and they called me a content creator
He's-
or a content creator. So Chris is coming up second. Oh, actually, Clairmont's first right now.
I would say Clairmont's probably 2. I would say Chris ahead of Clairmont.
Okay.
Chris, Clairmont, you, and then me.
But when I put my dog on my TikTok, you motherfuckers watch out. That's when the fucking views are gonna increase, bro. Once I put my dog on the TikTok, bro.
You're not
But
wrong.
yes, I will take third place calmly, and I'm gonna listen to your podcast, bro.
Hey,
Shout outs to you, Chris. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate
Appreciate
you,
the
man.
studio. Appreciate the changes. You know what I'm saying? And we got more changes on the way. Adriel, talk to him.
Like we always do on the show, we want to remind you, please follow us on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and leave us a rating and a review. If you want to see us go up those rankings, leave us a rating and a review, 5 stars, not a single star less. Now, of course, you know the motto. We got to cancel canceling, bring back bullying,
Jeez.
know yourself, know your worth.
Thanks for listening to this episode. That's when
Whitney?
Whitney comes in at the end.
This episode.
Nice.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else you can play podcasts.